Welcome to the third video of the string module. In this video, we'll be learning about the operators in string. What does mean by operators? So operators are nothing but they are just the symbol. For example, you have a plus, minus, multiply, divide. Now, these symbols perform several operations. These symbol perform several operations. That's why they are termed as operators. That's why they are termed as operators. So remember this point. So basically, operators are nothing but they are just the symbols that these symbols perform certain operations. That's why they are termed as operators. Now, I think everyone is familiar with these two operators, a plus and the multiplication. So read the first line, that is plus operator as arithmetic operator. So when you write 2 plus 3, it will give you a 5. But if you convert this 2 as a string and you'll write 2 plus 3, what it will give you an output? Is it be a 5 or a 23? I think everyone is familiar with such kind of questions because in our childhood we used to ask 1 plus 1 is 2 or 1 plus 1 is 11. Which one is true? Let's today we'll find the solution for this, that which is true and why, and in which situation this is true and in which situation this is true. So first understand plus operator as concatenation operator. What does concatenation means? Concatenation means adding two things. Adding two things. This basically means what concatenation means, adding out the two things. For example, if you have a string named as pep, the other string if you have as a coder, and if you will use a plus sign between them, if you use this plus sign between the two strings, it will concatenate. That means it will add, it will merge the two strings. In case of strings, it would be good to call them as a merge these strings. So the output will be pep coder. So plus operator as arithmetic operator performs the basic addition that we know it already, and plus operator as concatenation operator. That means when plus operator is used between the two strings, it gives you the output in a string format by merging those two strings. By merging the two strings. So now let's look at the multiplication operator. The multiplication operator. This operator act as a multiplication operator. When you perform like 2 into 3 will gives you 6. 5 into 9 will gives you 45. But if you will write pep multiplied by 3, it will give you an output of pep, pep and pep. What it means? It basically means this line, multiplication operator as a replication operator. It means it is repeating that string the x times. What is x? Over here you have defined. In this case it is 3, so it has repeated itself 3 times. Now over here I'll be writing several things to differentiate between when multiplication, when this plus operator act as addition operator, or it will act as a concatenation operator, and this multiplication operator will act as a multiplication and as a replication. So determine this answer for these things, and yet this question is left. Now just keep it this over here. At last we'll find the solution for it. Okay. Now I'll be writing several points over here. Now, if both are numbers, then this symbol, that means plus symbol, will perform addition. Okay. The second thing, if both are strings, then this plus operator will act as a concatenation operator. Now, so let's look at this. 2 plus 7 and a plus b, pep plus coder, pep plus 3, pep plus 3. Let's determine the solution for all these questions. The first one is 2 is an integer, 7 is an integer. Output will be 9. A is a string, B is a string. Output will be AB in string format. Pep is a string, coder is a string. So the output will be pep coder as string. Pep is a string, 3 is int. The output will be pep3 or 3 or invalid. Now, understand this point very clearly. This is a string and this is an integer. Internally, the plus operator act for int and for string and string. But for string and int, you cannot apply plus operator between them. You cannot apply plus operator between a string and an int. This is an invalid syntax. That means pep plus 3 will give you is invalid. It will give you an error. That is, you cannot add. You can't add string and integer value. Remember this point. This is very important. That is, you can add two integers. One int and one int is right. String and string is also valid, but string and int is invalid. Is completely invalid. So remember this point. Now let's move to the last one, where you have pep as a string. 3 is what? 3 is integer or string? It is the string. So the output will be pep 3. You can have string plus the string will gives you the concatenation. That is, you just have merged the string. Now, so the two conclusions that has been drawn from over here, the three conclusions, that is, if both are numbers, plus will act as addition. If both are strings, plus will act as concatenation. The third and the important point is, I think you won't be okay over here. So the third important point is, if both are, oh sorry, not both, if one is string Other one is, if one is a string, other one is integer. Plus symbol gives you an error. Gives you error. So remember the 3 points. If both are numbers, if if both are number, plus will act as addition. If both are strings, plus will perform concatenation. That means it will merge the strings. And if one is a string, the other one is integer, plus symbol will give you an error. So remember these 3 points, and these are really important ones. Now let's move to our now let's move to our second operator. Just a second. Let's move to our second operator, and that operator is the multiplication one. Now, this, try to analyze these things. Let's suppose 2 into 3, 2 into 3, pep into 3, pep into 3. So let's analyze the first line. 2 is an integer, 3 is an integer. We know it will perform basic multiplication, that is 6. 2 is a string, 3 is a string. What will be the output? What will be the output? Will 2 will 2 will get repeated for thrice, or 3 will get repeated twice? What will be the output? Or invalid. What will be the output? Basically, over here also the 3 points come. I would like to rewrite these 3 points, because ultimately with operators, remembering out whether the operator works or not is the most important task. So the first one is that if both are int, multiplication, normal multiplication, you can clearly see it over here. If both are string, whether first will get repeated twice times, or twice will get repeated first times, or invalid. That is, if both are strings, then this symbol will gives you invalid, because it is really confusing for the compiler to understand either to repeat this the first number x times, the second times, or the second number you should repeat to the first time, and both are exist at the same priority. So that's why it gives you an invalid output. It gives you an error, that is a string, that is what that is a string multiplied by string will gives you an error. That is, it is not possible. It's quite getting irritating. think I have logged my now. Now let's look to our third expression, that is when a string gets multiplied with the string. Right now only we see that it will be invalid. Now again I think I have written the same thing, that the string gets multiplied by, consider this as an integer, 3 is an integer, then what will be the output? That particular string will get repeated for thrice. Now again let's look it out. Consider this one more example. If 3 got multiplied with p, what will be the output? The output will be as similar to this. There is, if there is a change in an order, then the output will not get changed. The string will get repeated the number of times that is being defined by using an integer. So what is the conclusion? That if both are integers, multiplication will act as, will perform multiplication, remember this line, it will perform multiplication. Now if both are strings, if both are integers, if both are strings, it will give an error. Symbol will give an error, if one is int and one is a string, then a replication will be performed. Replication means a string gets repeated, by integer value times. Whatever the value that you have defined, for that times the given string will get repeated. So remember these 3 points. I'll come right now. Okay, yeah, this question has been left, which was the most important one. So tell me whether 1 plus 1 is equals to 2 or 1 plus 1 is equals to 11. It simply means that if you have written 1 and 1 both are of integer types, output will be 2. If 1 and 1 is of string types, output will be 11. Okay, so that depends on their data types. If they are int, output will be integer. If they are of strings, the plus operator will perform concatenation. So over here, let's conclude the 3 points again. Let's conclude the 3 points one by one. For plus, if both are int, I will like it clearly. Okay, if both are int, addition, what will get performed? Addition. If both are string, what will get performed? Concatenation. That means string will get merged. If both are, oh sorry, not both, if one is the string and other one is int, then error, invalid expression. That will be an invalid expression, because ultimately you cannot add a string to an integer. You can add only both strings and both things. For multiplication, what will be the output? If both are int, multiplication will perform. If both are strings, invalid syntax, you'll be getting an error. And if One is string and other is int. Then replication. That string will get repeated by the number of times that is being defined through the integer value. So just remember these several key points regarding plus operator and the multiplication operator. In what case it will perform addition, concatenation, or will give you an error, and in case of multiplication symbol, remember in which case it will perform multiplication, in which case it will give you an error, and in which case it will perform replication. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll be meeting it out with new topics.